Today's topic is pain sensation. Definition: it is an unpleasant sensory and emotional experience associated with actual or potential tissue damage. Poena, it is a Greek word, means penalty or punishment. So this pain word comes from this poena. Poena means penalty or punishment. Now, what is the purpose of pain? It informs brain and indicate that stimulus is physically damaging. So basically, there is a awareness, prevention and protection due to pain sensation. So awareness, it makes one aware of harmful agent in close contact with body, and body gives preferential treatment to this information. Prevention, it causes individual to react to remove the pain stimulus to prevent further damage to the tissue. And protection, pain receptors are non-adaptable receptor, therefore they keep person apprised of damaging stimulus as long as it persists. Thus pain sensation has a protective function. So awareness, prevention and protection. Pain receptors, they are known as a nociceptors, respond to noxious stimuli. That's why they are called nociceptors. Now, what are the noxious stimuli? They are mechanical, thermal or chemical stimuli. Now, structure of receptor, special type of free nerve endings, two type of nerve fibers. They are basically free nerve endings of A delta myelinated and C unmyelinated nerve fibers. Now what are the difference between these two fiber, A delta and C? Number, A delta fiber less number are there as compared to C fiber. Myelinated A delta fibers and C fiber are unmyelinated. Diameter is 2 to 5 micrometer. In C fiber 0.4 to 1.2 micrometer. Conduction velocity 12 to 30 meter per second. In C fiber 0.5 to 2 meter per second. Specific stimulus for A delta fiber most sensitive to pressure. So basically there is a stimulation of mechanoreceptors. C fiber most sensitive to chemical agents like histamine, kinin and prostaglandin. Impulse conduction only in response to noxious stimuli. In C fiber response to thermal and mechanical stimuli. Sensitivity to electrical stimulus is more in A delta fiber as compared to C fiber. Now location, pain receptor present in superficial layer of the skin and many deeper tissue like periosteum, joints, arterial wall, falls and tentorium in the cranium. Parenchyma of liver and alveoli of lungs are insensitive to pain, while liver capsule, bronchi and parietal pleura are very sensitive to pain. Now type of nociceptors, somatic and visceral. Somatic nociceptors, they are free nerve ending of A delta myelinated and C unmyelinated nerve fibers. So there are three type of nociceptor: unimodal, polymodal and silent nociceptors. Unimodal nociceptor respond to one modality. Polymodal nociceptors respond to more than one modality. And silent nociceptor activated only in inflammation or tissue damage. Visceral nociceptors, basically they are stimulated and produce a visceral pain, and visceral pain is produced by widespread inflammation, ischemia, mesenteric stretching or spasm, dilatation of hollow viscera, excessive tension on nerve ending in the smooth muscle. Now, pain stimuli. Mechanical and thermal stimuli elicit fast pain, and chemical stimuli elicit slow suffering type of pain. Examples of chemical stimuli: histamine, bradykinin, prostaglandin, kinin, and lactic acid. Other chemical media which cause slow suffering type of pain are potassium, ATP, ADP released from the cell death, bradykinin reaction of certain circulating globulins with proteolytic enzyme releases bradykinin, leukotrienes released from mast cell, serotonin released from platelets, histamine released from mast cell, lactic acid due to anaerobic mechanism during ischemia, and prostaglandin synthesized by enzyme cyclooxygenase, CGRP, calcitonin gene related peptide, substance P, and nociceptin are other chemical mediator which cause pain. Now, qualitative types of pain. So there are two types: fast pain and slow pain. Now, first, fast pain. It is sharp, well localized pricking sensation, a result from activation of A delta fibers, and it appears within 0.1 millisecond after the application of the stimulus. Now, what are the accompaniments of fast pain? So it is associated with the withdrawal reflex and sympathetic response. So withdrawal reflex means move away from the stimulus. There is a removal of limb from the stimulus or move away from the stimulus. Sympathetic response are increase in blood pressure, tachycardia, and perspiration. Now, slow pain. It is poorly localized, dull, throbbing, burning sensation, and it is basically due to activation of C fibers. It appears after 1 second or more following the application of stimulus. That's why it is called slow pain. Now, what are the accompaniments of slow pain? Now, this type of pain associated with the emotional perception and autonomic symptoms. Emotional perception like unpleasantness, irritation, frustration, and depression, and autonomic symptoms like nausea, profuse sweating, vomiting, and lowering of blood pressure. And also there is a generalized reduction in skeletal muscle tone. Now, clinical type of pain: somatic pain, visceral pain, referred pain, radiating pain, projected pain, and hyperalgesia. So now we will discuss one by one. First is somatic pain. It arises from tissue of the body other than the viscera. That's why it is called somatic. Two type: superficial somatic and deep somatic. Now, clinical condition associated with the somatic pain like injuries, mechanical trauma, chemical injuries, thermal injuries, tissue ischemia which release lactic acid and there is a lactic acid accumulation, inflammation by infecting agents like bacteria and viruses, and there is a muscle spasm. Okay, so this clinical condition is associated with the somatic pain. Now, visceral pain, pain from the internal organs. So there is a stimulation of visceral nociceptors. They are comparatively few. Features: it is this type of pain is poorly localized, unpleasant, associated with the autonomic symptoms, and there is a reflex contraction of skeletal muscle of abdominal wall. It is known as a gardening, and it radiates or referred to other side. So these are the characteristic features of visceral pain. Now, what are the common causes of visceral pain? Inflammation of viscera, for example, in case of appendicitis and cholecystitis and pancreatitis. Appendicitis means inflammation of appendix. Over distension of hollow viscera. Examples like intestinal distension in intestinal obstruction, urinary bladder distension in urinary obstruction. Spasm of hollow viscous. Pain is caused due to mechanical stimulation of pain ending and ischemia. For example, pain due to uterine contraction during childbirth and pain due to colic of alimentary, biliary or urinary tract. Chemical stimuli like damaging substance leak from the GI tract in peritoneal cavity. For example, gastric acid leaking through perforated gastric or duodenal ulcer. Ischemia, it occurs in traction on mesentery and pain is due to acidic metabolic end products or tissue degenerative products like bradykinin and proteolytic enzyme. So these are the common causes of visceral pain. Now neural pathway of visceral pain. So it is basically carried out by unmyelinated type C afferent fiber in sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. Their cell bodies are located in dorsal root and homologous cranial nerve ganglion. In central nervous system, visceral pain fiber travel along the somatic pain fibers in spinothalamic tract and medial lemniscus. Now another clinical type of pain is referred pain. Now what is referred pain? Pain which originates due to irritation of visceral organ and is felt not in the organ but in some other somatic structure like skin supplied by the same neural segment is known as a referred pain. Examples: pain referred to the second structure like myocardial ischemia. Pain is referred to the left shoulder and arm. Okay, so this is example of referred pain. So actual tissue injury occurs in myocardial ischemia in heart, okay, wall of heart due to blockage of coronary arteries. But first pain is referred to the left shoulder and arm. Another example are pain due to stone in lower part of ureter referred to corresponding testis and inner thigh, and inflammation of diaphragm secondary to pleurisy or cholecystitis produces pain at the tip of shoulder. So these are the examples of referred pain. Now theories of referred pain. So there are two types of theory. One is convergence theory and another is facilitation theory. Now first we will discuss convergence theory. So according to this theory, when first order neuron carrying pain sensation from somatic area and visceral organ converge on a common second order neuron, the brain is unable to identify the source of pain. Somatic pain is far more common, and that's why brain interprets all the pain as a somatic pain even when source is actually in visceral organ. So this is known as a convergence theory. And facilitation theory, according to this theory, visceral irritation is inadequate for producing a pain itself. However, it facilitates pain fiber from somatic structure so that even minor somatic irritation of skin, for example, produces perceptible pain. Okay, so there are two theory. One is convergence theory and another is facilitation theory for referred pain. Now radiating pain. Sometimes visceral pain is experienced both locally and also at a distant point. So it is known as a radiating pain. Example is appendicitis, inflammation of appendix. Now in this condition, pain start in right iliac fossa and then it radiates toward the center of abdomen, means around the umbilicus. So this is known as a radiating pain. Projected pain, we already know this thing. Projected pain, when sensory fiber carrying pain sensation are stimulated anywhere in their course to the sensory cortex, the pain sensation evoked are projected to the area where receptors are located. So this is known as a projected pain. Example is phantom limb. Another clinical condition, hyperalgesia. Hyper means more and algesia means pain. So enhanced painful response to a stimulus is known as a hyperalgesia. So two type, primary hyperalgesia and secondary hyperalgesia. So first, primary hyperalgesia. Noxious stimuli produce more severe pain than expected in this condition. Occurs over an area of tissue damage. Causes mostly chemical mediator like histamine, serotonin, plasma kinin, prostaglandin. In this condition, pain threshold is lowered so that even non-noxious stimuli, for example touch, produce pain. It is known as a allodynia. Examples are osteoarthritis and hyperalgic neuralgia. In this condition, there is a primary hyperalgesia. In secondary hyperalgesia, occurrence of far more severe pain than expected in response to noxious stimulus applied to normal healthy skin. So there is a no lowering of pain threshold, but here there is a phenomena of subliminal fringe effect. So this is subliminal fringe effect. It is a property of synaptic transmission. So just recall this subliminal fringe effect and refer this topic. Okay, so in this subliminal fringe effect, border area or peripheral means part in this area, there is a neuron, presynaptic and postsynaptic. They are presynaptic neuron stimulate postsynaptic neuron at the low threshold level. Okay, so there is a stimulation but no action potential. So this is phenomena of subliminal fringe effect. Causalgia, spontaneous burning sensation, pain sensation occurs after a long time in area of even trivial injuries. It is accompanied by hyperalgesia and reflex sympathetic dystrophy. Hyperalgesia we know. Now what is reflex sympathetic dystrophy? It means sympathetic discharge reflexly causes pain in injured skin area. The exact cause is not known, but in animal it reveals that in affected area the skin becomes thin, hair growth increases, nerve injuries leads to sprouting of sympathetic nerve fibers, and overgrowth of sympathetic endings enter into the dorsal root ganglion of the spinal nerves, and therefore discharge of this noradrenergic endings stimulate the altered circuitry of nerve fiber in the skin. So this is known as a sympathetic dystrophy, reflex sympathetic dystrophy. Causalgia. Now properties of pain sensation. Threshold and intensity. Pain is not felt at the subthreshold stimulus. Threshold stimulus is required. Adaptation, do not show any adaptation. Localized pain, it is poorly localized. Emotional accompaniment associated with the unpleasantness, irritation and frustration. Influence of rate of damage on intensity. If rate of damage is high, intensity of pain is high and vice versa. Quality of pain, fast and slow. Muscular response, acute pain may be associated with the skeletal muscle spasm in affected area. Reflex response, in fast pain there is a withdrawal reflex and sympathetic response, and in slow pain there is a autonomic symptoms. So this is property of pain sensation. Now pathways of pain, fast pain and slow pain. So first, what is the name of pathway of pain? Okay, so it is basically known as a lateral spinothalamic tract. Okay, lateral spinothalamic tract. But here there are two pain pathway. One pathway is for fast pain and another for slow pain. Okay, so for fast pain pathway is known as a neospinothalamic, and for slow pain it is known as a paleospinothalamic. Okay, so collectively it is known as a lateral spinothalamic tract. Okay, so now we will discuss one by one. So first, pathway for fast pain. So as we know that pathway starts from the receptors. Okay, they are known as a nociceptors. So receptor for fast pain, they are basically free nerve endings of A delta nerve fibers. Okay, A delta nerve fibers. So in spinal cord, A delta fibers ascend or descend for one or two segments in the tract of Lizard lying immediately posterior to the dorsal horn and then terminate into neurons of lamina 1, and this neuron give rise to fiber which immediately crosses and then it ascends upwards in opposite side. Okay, here you can see in this figure solid line. Okay, and in the brainstem few fibers from neospinothalamic tract terminate in reticular formation and most of them pass upwards in the thalamus. Okay, in thalamus fiber projected to the VPL nuclei, it is known as a ventral posterolateral nucleus. From here thalamic neurons project to the primary sensory cortex, okay, through thalamic radiation. So this fiber are known as a thalamic radiation. Okay, so this is the pathway for fast pain. Now pathway for slow pain. Okay, so this is here, okay, dotted line. First, receptors are nociceptors. They are basically free nerve ending of C unmyelinated nerve fibers. Okay, then it enters into the spinal cord. Okay, in the spinal cord C fiber terminate in lamina 2 and third of dorsal horn, and lamina 2 and third are together known as a substantia gelatinosa. From here fiber go to lamina 5 of dorsal horn, and axon of neuron of lamina 1 of dorsal horn which receive impulses from C fiber cross midline near their level of origin and form paleospinothalamic tract, okay, which passes upwards to the brain in anterolateral column along with the fibers of fast pain. Okay, in the brainstem this fiber terminate mainly in reticular formation, then superior colliculus and periaqueductal gray region, okay, and then ascend upwards in thalamus, and it pass through midline and intralaminar nuclei in thalamus. Okay, so it forms third order neuron and finally it is terminated in somatosensory cortex. Okay, so these are the thalamic radiation again. Okay, so this is the pathway for slow pain. Now transmission of pain signal through two routes. It explains why a single prick with sharp needle produces almost immediately sharp localized pain followed by a slow pain. Okay, and another applied aspect is the fact that brainstem reticular areas, intralaminar thalamic nuclei and reticular formation. Okay, so due to this connection there is a activation of alerting system, okay, reticular activating system, and that's why during pain person is unable to sleep. Okay, person is unable to sleep because this reticular formation, it is mainly responsible for alertness and awakeness of person. Thank you.